Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. The US Congress has approved a bill requiring undocumented immigrants who are arrested for theft or violent crimes to be held in jail until their trial. It was approved with 263 votes supporting it and 156 against. It has now moved to the White House for US President Donald Trump to sign into law. Trump has nominated Andrew Puzder as the US ambassador to the European Union. Puzder earlier ran the parent company of restaurant chains Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Trump has also selected Sean Curran to serve as director of the US Secret Service. Curran was one of the agents who protected Trump during the attempted assassination in Pennsylvania last year. Trump has threatened Russian President Vladimir Putin to make a peace deal with Ukraine. Taking to his social media platform Truth Social, Trump warned Putin of tougher economic measures and sanctions. Trump had vowed to end the conflict between Ukraine and Russia in 24 hours after taking office. New US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has promised his steadfast support for Israel on Wednesday. He spoke to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over a call. Rubio assured Netanyahu that Washington will continue to back Israel. Rubio stated that Israel is a top priority for US President Trump. During the call, he also congratulated Netanyahu on Israel's successes against Hamas and Hezbollah. Trump has signed an executive order to designate the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization. In 2021, former President Joe Biden had removed the designation that Trump had signed near the end of his first term. The Houthis have been targeting Israel-linked ships and their allies in the Red Sea since the Gaza war broke out. The Yemen-based Houthis released the crew of a merchant ship, the Galaxy Leader. The group had seized the vessel and its 25 crew members on November 19, 2023. The Houthis cited the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas as the motivation to release the crew. A Hamas official also hailed the coordination between his group and the Houthis that led to the crew's release. The Israeli military said it had killed a terrorist in Gaza. It's the first death reported since the beginning of the ceasefire with Hamas. The IDF said it observed several armed suspects that posed a threat in southern Gaza. The Israeli forces operated to thwart the threat and eliminate a Hamas terrorist. 4 people also sustained injuries in the operation. The Israeli military fired warning shots at several areas in the Gaza Strip. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has clarified India's stance on illegal immigration in the US. Jaishankar said that New Delhi was open to the legitimate return of Indian nationals living illegally abroad. Jaishankar made the statement after his meeting with the new US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. India's External Affairs Minister also discussed long waiting periods for US visas with his counterpart and said that it should not be taking very long. A tragic incident occurred on board the Mumbai-Bound Pushpak Express train in India's Maharashtra state. At least 12 people lost their lives. A false fire rumor caused panic among the passengers and after someone pulled the emergency brakes, leading to sparks from the tracks. Amid the chaos, several passengers jumped off the train, with some being fatally struck by another incoming train. Ireland's Parliament failed to appoint Michael Martin as the new Prime Minister amid the chaos that broke out after opposition parties blocked the vote in protest. Martin was scheduled to be declared Prime Minister for the second time on Wednesday. His party won the most seats in the general election in November, but opposition parties forced an adjournment of Parliament expressing their discontentment. The Speaker had to suspend the session twice. Martin is now expected to be declared Prime Minister today. A man stabbed 3 people outside a train station in central Japan on Wednesday. The incident took place when the victims were waiting near a bus terminal outside Nagano Station. Officials said that a man was killed and 2 others sustained injuries. The police have been looking for the suspect who fled. Those attacked described the suspect as an unfamiliar middle-aged man. The Russian Defense Ministry said it gained control of a village in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region. It said that its forces had taken over the village of Zapadne. The seizure indicates mounting pressure on Ukrainian soldiers almost 3 years after the war began. At least 2 people were also killed in Kharkiv and 10 others sustained injuries. South Korean investigators have recommended that impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol should be charged with insurrection and abuse of power. They have declared the results of their probe over his decision to briefly declare martial law in the country. The investigators have revealed that Yoon conspired with the former defense minister of South Korea. They have decided to transfer the case to the South Korean prosecutor's office for an indictment. Thailand has officially legalized same-sex marriage, making it the first country in Southeast Asia to pass such a legislation. The Marriage Equality Act, was approved by the Thai Parliament last year. It paves the way for greater LGBTQ+ rights in the region. According to reports, nearly 180 couples are set to register their marriages today. Venezuela's armed forces conducted military and police exercises on Wednesday. More than 150,000 officers have been deployed across Venezuela. National Guard soldiers and members of the militia patrolled and guarded the region between Carabobo State and the capital Caracas. The drills aim to prevent the advance of any enemy force towards the Venezuelan capital. This comes 2 weeks after the inauguration of President Nicolas Maduro for his 3rd term in office. Moving to climate news, in the United States, a new wildfire erupted north of Los Angeles. It spread rapidly to over 9,400 acres due to strong winds and dry brush. Mandatory evacuation orders were issued for 31,000 residents, with 23,000 more under warnings. The blaze, dubbed the Hughes Fire, further strained firefighters already battling 2 major fires in the region. A rare winter storm swept across the U.S. South, bringing snow to regions unaccustomed to such weather. Mobile Alabama saw up to 5 inches of snow, the heaviest in over 60 years. Blizzard warnings were issued for southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, with temperatures dipping to single digits. The residents were urged to protect against frostbite and prevent water pipe ruptures as freezing conditions persisted. Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina, declared a state of alert as it ranked among the world's most polluted cities. The fine particle levels were 47 times higher than World Health Organization's thresholds. Pollution spikes are attributed to poor quality stoves and solid fuels like damp wood used by up to 40,000 households. Environmentalists criticize the Bosnian government for inaction. Residents face heightened risks of lung cancer, respiratory diseases, and depression. At the World Economic Forum, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres slammed the world's dependence on fossil fuels. He likened it to a Frankenstein's monster causing catastrophic climate effects. Guterres warned of worsening sea level rise, wildfires, and extreme weather events as a preview of an environmental horror movie. Solar energy accounted for 11% of the European Union's electricity mix in 2024. It overtook coal, which fell below 10%. This is according to a think tank called Ember. Fossil fuel usage in the EU has reached historic lows as countries shift towards renewables to meet climate targets and reduce reliance on imports. Gas-fired power generation also declined slightly. In business and tech news, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has pledged to invest $600 billion in the US. The goal is to boost trade and investment between Saudi Arabia and the US. The investment will be spread over the next 4 years. The Saudi Crown Prince announced this during a call with the new US President Donald Trump. Tesla will raise prices of all its cars in Canada starting on the 1st of February 2025. The Tesla Model 3 will go up by about $6,700, while other models will increase by around $3,000. Tesla has not given a reason for the price hike. The change comes as Canada imposes tariffs on Chinese-made electric cars and trade tensions between Canada and the US continue. LinkedIn is being sued for allegedly using private in-mail messages to train artificial intelligence without user consent. The lawsuit claimed that LinkedIn changed its privacy policy in 2024 to allow data use, even if users had opted out. Plaintiffs seek damages, including $1,000 per customer, for violating the Stored Communications Act. LinkedIn has denied the allegations. Samsung has launched the Galaxy S25 series. The phones have advanced artificial intelligence features for better user interaction. The devices are powered by chips from the US firm Qualcomm. The S25 series handsets also use Google's AI model Gemini. Samsung has kept the starting price of the phones at $799. Google is investing an additional $1 billion in the AI startup Anthropic. This raises Google's total investment in the firm to $3 billion. Anthropic, founded by former OpenAI employees, is known for its Claude AI models. The company has a valuation of around $60 billion and is growing rapidly. Other tech giants like Amazon have also invested in Anthropic, integrating its AI into products like Alexa. Now moving to sports, we start with cricket. India beat England by 7 wickets in the first T20 international of the ongoing 5-match series. After winning the toss, India opted to bowl first. English captain Jos Buttler scored a 68-run innings, but the hosts managed to restrict England to 132 runs. India chased down the 133-run target with 43 balls remaining. Abhishek Sharma smashed a 79-run innings of just 34 balls. South African cricket great A.B. de Villiers suggested he plans to return to international cricket. In an interview, the 40-year-old said that he intends to play some real cricket and not just the IPL and local South African leagues. The 40-year-old retired from all formats of international cricket in November 2021. In football, Paris Saint-Germain or PSG beat Manchester City 4-2 in the Champions League. After a goalless first half, City took the initial lead with goals from Jack Grealish and Erling Haaland. But PSG hit back with 1 goal each from Ousmane Dembele and Bradley Barcola, levelling the scoreline at 2-2. A 78th-minute goal from João Neves, followed by an extra-time hit from Goncalo Ramos, sealed the game for PSG. Arsenal beat Dinamo Zagreb 3-0 in the Champions League. Declan Rice scored the opening goal at the start of the game. Kai Havertz extended the lead for the Gunners later in the game. Martin Odegaard hit the back of the net in extra time to seal the game for Arsenal. Borussia Dortmund fired their head coach Nuri Sahin. This came as Dortmund lost their Champions League match to Bologna 2-1. Yesterday's loss stretched Dortmund's losing run to 4 games across all competitions. In a statement, Sahin accepted that he and his managerial team could not live up to Dortmund's sporting ambitions this season. In tennis, men's world number 1 Jannik Sinner beat world number 8 Alex de Minaur to enter the Australian Open semi-finals. The Italian beat his Australian opponent 6-3, 6-2, 6-1. Sinner will clash against Ben Shelton of the United States in the semi-finals. Women's world number 2 Iga Świątek entered the Australian Open semi-finals as well. In her quarter-final clash, Świątek beat Emma Navarro of the United States 6-1, 6-2. Świątek will face Madison Keys from the US in the semi-finals. In badminton, women's world number 12, PV Sindhu crashed out of the Indonesia Masters. Sindhu dropped 6 game points in the first game before facing a straight game defeat against her Vietnamese opponent. The Indian Olympic medalist lost the match 2022, 12-21. Men's world number 10, Lakshya Sen, registered his first victory of the year The Paris Olympic semi-finalist took a dominating straight game win in the Indonesia Masters. Sen beat Japanese shuttler Takuma Obayashi 21-9, 21-14. Lewis Hamilton drove a Ferrari Formula One car for the first time yesterday. The seven-time F1 world champion described it as one of the best feelings of his life. The drive was part of the attunement process for Hamilton with his new team. The future test drives of this kind are also planned. They aim to help Hamilton build Ferrari-like driving practices. Moving to entertainment news, rapper Sean Diddy Combs has filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit. This is after an individual accused him of possessing explicit videos featuring intoxicated celebrities and minors. The rapper's legal team has firmly denied the claims, asserting that the allegations are false and could potentially influence Sean Diddy Combs' upcoming trial. The lawsuit calls for the accusations outrageous and malicious. HBO has officially renewed The White Lotus for a fourth season, with production set to begin in 2026, although details about the cast and filming locations are yet to be revealed. The series creator, Mike White, has already pitched the concept for the next installment. The show is expected to continue exploring themes of privilege, power, and social commentary. The documentary Les Hijabuses has won the 2025 Action Grant for Breaking Through the Lens. It's an organization dedicated to addressing gender inequality in film. The documentary follows a group of Muslim women football players in Paris as they fight for their place in the sport despite facing significant discrimination. The makers expressed their excitement at receiving the approximately $10,800 grant. The Golden Raspberry Awards have unveiled their 2025 nominations. Joker Folie à Deux has taken the lead with 7 nominations. The highly anticipated sequel to the 2019 Joker film joins Borderlands, Madame Web and Megalopolis on the Razzies list. The awards, which recognize the worst performances in films of the year, continue to provide a humorous counterpart to the more prestigious accolades like the Academy Awards. CBS is expanding its FBI universe with a new spin-off called FBI CIA. It'll focus on the collaboration between FBI agents and CIA operatives to combat domestic terrorism. The new show targets a 2025-26 release. It'll follow a dedicated FBI agent and a street-smart CIA agent as they work together in a task force based in New York City. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to Firstpost.